to the Gulf Coast. Welcome to the Gulf Coast. Welcome to the Gulf Coast.
Welcome, guys, to the Gulf Coast Music Podcast. My name is Q Steezy, and today's new wave, Flewit.
What's up?
Fantastic. Explain to the viewers how you got your name.
So I don't know. I was probably like 13 years old, and I was like making rap music. And,
Really?
I needed a rap name, and I was like, what do rappers do? And they flow, right? So I was like, what flows? Like liquid, I think is what I started with.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, fluid, like spelled correctly. And then
Lamb.
yeah. and then I put some songs out under that name.
Right.
And then I realized there's already a guy named Flewit.
Ah.
So I was like, all right. And then I changed the spelling of it. And so it's Flewit.
Much
now.
cooler.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. And then now, do you release any more music, or are you solely an engineer?
So I do release music. It's rare these days.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I've got a song coming out.
Nice.
On the 19th of this month, and it's like one of the first like really well engineered rock songs I've done.
Okay,
So,
gotcha. Is it with live instruments?
Yeah.
Cool.
Except the drums are programmed, but everything else is me playing. It's
Nice.
all real. So
Where do you typically get your drum packages from?
honestly, I just use the Logic drummer, man, the one that's built into Logic Pro. It works, and I mean, it fools people most of the time. Like if you don't know, it sounds real, you know.
What do you have to say about that, just generally speaking, of how the game has changed to where technology is able to make live instruments sound live, or make artificial instruments sound live?
I don't know. It's like it's hard to say. I think it's a good thing in a lot of ways. Like, it's I think I don't know. This is all kind of controversial, especially with like AI and stuff like that. But I think what's like most important is that people are able to freely create like what they have in their head, you know. So like, it's also important for musicians to have jobs. So
Right.
it's like it's kind of a double-edged sword, I guess. But I think it's a good thing in some ways to have like those automated like instrumentation type things and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I liked how you said it's also good to have jobs, but
Yeah.
it's really cool to see what could happen from
Right.
just an instantaneous dream to reality.
Yeah, for sure.
How'd you get into engineering from making music?
So I guess it was like I made my own albums, like, and I mean, I'm talking like terrible. Like I was like 13 years old, bro. Terrible music. But I mean, I think
What were you rapping about?
I don't even know if I'm able to repeat what I was rapping about. Those first couple albums, I'm just kidding.
Those adolescent years
Yeah.
had some language.
It was there were goofy songs. They were just terrible. But yeah, so I started doing that, and then so I did a terrible goofy album with some friends one time, and then after that, I was I was fiddling around one day. I made like a beat from scratch, and I was like, it sounded kind of good.
Oh wow! How old were you?
I was like 14 at that point.
Wow,
So I was
that's
like,
early.
I thought it sounded kind of good, but
Yeah.
it was something. It was like,
Yeah.
I progressed from my,
Yeah.
whatever it started at. And then, so I did that, and and then I just like started actually making like serious music that wasn't so goofy. And then, that turned into like getting features for my friends, and that turned to my friends wanting me to make their music, like I made all the beats back in the day, like for all the albums that I put out, like anything that I put my hands on, I was like making all the beats.
Gosh, man, how much time does that take? Or back then, how much time did it take?
I mean, it varied. I mean, I think we'd spend, I think at that point we'd spend like a day on a song. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know how that is, man.
Like a whole day, if I remember correctly. But yeah, so just started making beats for my friends, started making albums with them, and then basically, I mean, for all intents and purposes, like being an artist didn't play out as a regular income for me, and I figured out like that I was decent in engineering,
Right.
and that I could pretty like confidently make some money off of it.
Yeah.
And so I kind of dove in,
What was it like with your first get or first artists that you would engineer for, like people that may have never heard of your style, and like how much were you charging them, and what was it? Was it nervous? Were you nervous to be engineering for?
Um, it's hard to say, like, because it started out it was a lot of friends, me doing stuff with friends,
Okay,
and and I mean, the first time I like had like a paid client
right,
was, I think it was, yeah, I don't know, I think I felt pretty good about it when I did it. I don't know if this was like my first paid client, but the first like full album I did for somebody that was like a paid client, I guess that's like I've probably had singles here and there,
right.
but the first like full album I did for this guy named Simon Haggerty, and his album was called Cruise Haggerty. Man, it was really good. But and he took it offline. It's a real bummer. It was great. It was like alternative music. I produced it for him too.
Why did
so
you take it offline?
I don't know if I'm at liberty to say, but
Okay,
yeah, but he did, and but that was my first paid album, and I mean, I don't know, I don't think I felt any kind of way about it. I felt pretty confident in it. He was happy with it whenever,
yeah.
and everything. So, yeah, it wasn't nothing, not like a huge significant thing, even though
Yeah.
it seems like it might be. Yeah.
Just really briefly, I love how you said, I don't know if I'm at liberty to say. I've never heard anybody say it. I've never said that, so I just want to try to remember that to add it to my vernacular.
Yeah, it's yeah.
I'm not at liberty to say it. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. Have you ever had an artist that you were kind of on edge about, like, man, I got to be on my game today to engineer for them?
Oh yeah.
Really?
For sure. That's another thing that's been mostly at Dolphin Street Sound,
Right.
having bigger people come in there. That's another thing I'm probably not at liberty to say who I've
Right.
worked with as of now, because their stuff is not out yet and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, there's been some stuff where I was like, I realized who the person was. I was like, oh fuck, like I was like, dude, if I don't buck up right now, not only is this guy gonna be disappointed in me, who's like, somebody
Right.
important, but also I'm fired. So you know,
Right.
I've definitely had that happen, and I pulled through at that point, and the times when that's happened.
That's great.
But it's a cool experience for sure.
How long would it take you to engineer as an average song?
Like from recording to
Yeah,
to master, or
like a 2-track beat.
and you're saying like build a beat.
No, sorry. Like,
sorry,
yeah, you're just engineer. Like somebody finds a YouTube beat and they're laying
They
vocals,
come in,
ad-libs.
record, and then
Yeah.
just give them a mix kind of
Right,
thing.
right.
It varies. It depends on the artist a lot of the time.
Yeah,
Like for example, I had somebody come in. I had somebody that I worked with at Dauphin Street yesterday, and we basically completed a whole song in like an hour and a half. And it's because they were super practiced. And I
right,
mean, they got the song on the second take.
right,
It was perfect. I mean, they just nailed it. And also we have like a good creative flow together, so that
Right.
helps too, because we've worked together before. And so
How long was the song?
it's like 2.5, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, like I said, it can depend on me too. But I've definitely had ones that took like 4 hours,
Yeah.
or more, for sure.
Well, do you prefer I mean, I guess it's natural that you would prefer a practiced artist than somebody
Mhm.
who's just like, let me just punch in, you know.
Yeah, I mean, generally,
Yeah.
but the punch-ins can be fun too, because like like sometimes I'll have a hard time getting in the creative flow with those people, that like kind of like come in and punch in. But like if I get on their wavelength, it can be cool, because like I can have some input, and like,
Right.
we can like make something that's like really unique and special.
And personal, yeah.
Yeah. It just varies though, because sometimes like sometimes I have a hard time picking up on like what they're putting down, pretty literally. So
Yeah.
it just varies, but
Yeah,
either way, I have fun with it. I mean, I love doing it either way. So
definitely. Were there any points where you're like, man, I'm either dedicating too much of my time to this, or this may not be the right career path for me? And then you had to figure out that it was.
That's a good question. I mean, I always, even to this day, I still don't know if it's my career kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I make money off of it, but like,
How old are you?
I'm 29.
Gotcha.
But you know, I don't know. I think there's a lot that goes into it, but I mean, I've gotten really lucky, and you know, I've had help, you know, to be honest, and if
In
it
what
weren't
ways?
just like financial help, to be
Okay.
straight. But I didn't always have that. I mean, that's just the past few years. That's kind of like kept me floating, you know.
Right.
And it's for circumstances that are unforeseen and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, but up till the just a few years ago, man. I mean, I was definitely like it was tough. I mean, I was just working in a restaurant and just you know, kicking my own ass, just get off of work and then sleep and then get up and work and then go back to work
Yeah.
for a long time. Um,
Gosh,
and,
man.
yeah, I mean, to the point where like my roommates at the time were like, "Hey, man, you need to like relax, you know, like you need to like sit on the couch and play some video games or something, you know." And these days, I take the time to do it. I really do because I just didn't, you know.
Yeah. Do you believe in burnout?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, it takes a lot for me to get burnt out on the music thing, but
It can definitely affect an artistic approach. You know.
yeah, I mean, when it comes to making the music itself, I definitely got burnt out on it, like producing and writing
Right.
and recording myself, for sure. I mean, I put out from like 2013 to 2020, I think I put out an album every year, and like way more than 10 songs per album for most of them.
Gosh. And then if you're
And
doing it yourself, they're probably really nuanced.
yeah, and it took just a lot of time, and not all of it's really that good, honestly. But it was just a lot of work. It gave me a lot of practice, and that's why I think I'm able to engineer so much, because I did it for myself for so long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely burnt the heck out on making my own music, and that's why I haven't put out an album since 2020. So
Yeah. I should have checked out your music. I thought you were only a producer and engineer,
yeah,
but I'll definitely give it a listen after this.
word. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting. It's fun stuff. There's like it's like a lot of rap.
Yeah.
And then there's some like electronic music and a handful of rock songs that are not very well engineered because I just didn't have the know-how at that point. But
Yeah. How was engineering a rock song different?
just like properly recording guitars is important. It's not necessarily like difficult per se, but doing
Right.
it right, you know, knowing how to do it right in the first place is important.
Yeah.
It can really change things. Same thing with like recording bass guitar. I mean, you know, that's something. And then recording drums correctly was something at that when I did it that was like I was not doing it right at all, you know. And I
How
was
are you
also,
doing it?
I mean, I was using a really like $100 drum mic kit. So $100 for like all of the microphones. It's like 8 microphones. So it's like $20 a piece for the
Right.
microphones, you know.
Right.
And then I was doing it on a kit that was not tuned. I was doing it like in a room that was not treated.
That's frustrating.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it just sounded like crap. But
How important is get what you pay for or how important has it been in developing as a producer? You know, because
Mm.
in a field of where you have to buy material things and then upgrade them over time,
mhm,
uh, you know, you can sell it on like different marketplaces, but
mhm.
just how important has it been to buy the quintessential product of the time?
Like when it comes to gear,
Exactly.
um, you know, I've like in my time like at Dolphin Street Sound and just in you know being an engineer in general, like there's a lot of debate about it that I've seen, and I've debated it in my own head, you know, about that kind of thing. I mean, the way I feel about it is that I think you can make like excellent sounding music with cheap ass gear. Honestly, you can. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's going to be a pain in your ass, but you can do it.
Yeah.
You know. But the thing that I found from using like top of the line gear is that I mean, in my experience, it takes very little work to make it sound great once you've recorded it really well. So like if I record, you know, on a crappy microphone with a crappy preamp with a crappy compressor, blah 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 blah. In my experience, it's going to take a lot more work to make that sound good in the computer. But if I do that all excellent stuff on the way in, I might have to like dabble on something in the computer that takes me like a few minutes. You
Yeah.
know, if I do well, you know, I have to. There's more to it than that. You know,
Yeah.
knowing how to work the gear itself. But But yeah, the expensive gear makes it easier, but it's not essential. That was a lot.
Okay.
That's the short form of what.
Great
I
answer.
Yeah.
Great answer.
Mhm.
Let's see. How did you get into the business of either meeting people, extracting their files, and mixing and mastering on your own, or
Mhm.
people sending their files for you to master
Mhm.
on your own? You know, in a remote environment as opposed to in person. How'd you get into that business?
So in recent years, so in general, it's been like a lot of word of mouth kind of thing.
Right.
But in recent years, I've done like a couple kind of like experimental things. For a while, I was actually doing like free mixing and mastering.
That's
And
crazy.
yeah, and it was like it was useful because I got experience doing
So
music
it
that
was
I've
in the
never
beginning.
done. So this was just a few years ago.
Right.
So yeah, and I mean, I guess like yeah, when I was making music with my friends, for sure, it was like that was all free, blah blah blah.
Right.
But yeah, like so like I was charging for mixing for a little while, and I honestly wasn't doing well with it. So I did some free mixing, and then what I was trying to do, and I still think there's something to this. I don't think I'll ever be able to pull it off. I've seen other actually bigger people like kind of pull this thing off. But what I was trying to do is I was trying to make it where I was giving out free mixing, and basically I set up like a Patreon, and it was where you could donate to help me keep doing it. And the whole idea was that I was trying to, and this is truly what it was, is I was trying to help people that couldn't afford it
Yeah.
get it done. Because there's a lot of people that have beautiful music that's badly recorded, mixed, mastered,
Right.
that could do better if they had that, but they can't because they can't afford it, or they can't because they don't know how to do it,
Right.
whatever. And so
The underground rap charity.
yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I mean, I got to work with some really cool people. I did mixing for this like Ukrainian rock band that was doing like metal. It was pretty cool.
How'd you come
and
in contact with them?
It was just I had one of my videos being like, "Hey, I'm doing free mixing," blah 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 blah, and they're like, "Hey, give me a free mix."
And it just traveled over there.
Yeah,
That's
so-
crazy.
So I mean, it was a remote thing, and they sent it to me and everything. But
Yeah, Ukraine could definitely use it, man.
yeah, but it was like just things like that. So that's like, and that kind of led to. I mean, I don't. I think I might have retained some of them, and they like have paid me since then and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But most of it is just like being on social media, which is like, I hate it. I hate doing all the social media stuff. I do it, and like it's fun in some ways, but
Have you considered paying somebody via commission or just direct payment
man,
to manage it?
if I really had like the dough on hand, I would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of could pull it off. I think it's a matter of maybe me finding the right person to do it. you know?
Right.
Because man, that would be great. Especially if it was effective. If like they were making videos for me for social media, and then it was like I was getting clients from not even touching it. That'd be awesome. I would love it.
Yeah.
But as of now, it's more cost effective for me to do it myself, so I do it.
What do you have to say about how saturated music is nowadays compared to how it was back then?
Yeah.
Is it tougher to enter the game because it's so saturated, or is it easier?
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. I think it's. I mean, it's tougher. I mean, generally speaking. Excuse me. It's easier because we have all the tools to do it more easily.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of music, and I mean, unless something is really like I think about myself scrolling through social media or whatever it is, and like honestly, like I'm gonna sound kind of like cold for this, but like if I see like some indie person like advertising their music, I just scroll past it.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be like it's not because I don't care. It's just I mean it is because I don't care. I don't know. I think it's because it's so much. It's just
so
all
much.
the time.
Yeah.
So it's like I mean like where do I it's like where do I put my energy into like consuming this thing? You know what I mean?
What's the best way to reach you as an artist that you've never heard of? Like what would your advice be to an indie artist to promote themselves?
I mean, definitely. I mean, learning, like, understanding social media. I mean, unfortunately, I mean, that's where I get
Einstein couldn't understand social media.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, and that's the thing is like it's a lot of it's hit or miss. I mean, I have videos get thousands of views, and then I have videos get 100 views. And like And I sometimes I get a customer.
You've got
and
great
most of the time
videos
I
too,
don't.
man.
Thanks.
Especially the like thumbnails on Instagram is like
Yeah.
unprecedented.
Thanks.
So
Yeah, that's a cool feature they added. I actually like that.
Yeah.
I like doing photography too. That's like a side thing. So,
really,
yeah, like occasionally I'll do photos for like bands at shows and stuff like that. And
nice, man.
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Producing for them on all fronts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like that's. I'm gonna plug myself here. So like, I do like if you come
Free sponsorship.
yeah, if you come to me like and you need something done like I for a while like I concentrate on the mixing and recording these days, but like if you come to me and you need something like an album done from start to finish, all your stuff like photos, album artwork, blah 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 blah. I mean, I will do it if you got the budget for it. I will absolutely do it. And if
That's a terrific deal, man.
Yeah,
To be able to like in-source all of that for an entire project and just say like, I trust your mindset for all this. Wow, man. What would be a budget for an entire project in your hands?
It varies.
Right.
Yeah. If you've got like a full rock band,
Right.
it's gonna be and just like it's gonna be expensive. It is if you got a full rock band and you want to record, mix, master 10 songs, something like that. I mean, it's hard to say because I'll do bulk deals depending on how much it is, like how many songs it is, and what all you need mixed or mastered. But I guess I'll just give a very very rough estimate. I don't want to be held to this because it could vary. It could vary depending on your project. But I mean, it's a couple grand.
Couple grand.
Yeah.
I think that's a deal.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just like assuming that it's like a straightforward project kind of thing.
Right.
There's not like any hang-ups or anything
Right.
like that. Yeah, I think I could generally make it work for about that much. But that, like I said, could
Yeah.
change.
For sure. I was listening to Nirvana's album again recently.
Yeah.
When it comes to that sound of live instruments, like, is that similar to the type of rock that you're referring to, or what's kind of a reference point?
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, that would be like, something that's not like super produced with like a billion instruments and stuff like that. That would be
Okay.
like, straightforward, like a rock band.
Yeah.
Maybe not like a whole lot of. I mean, I don't know. I guess there are some strings on a couple Nirvana songs.
Maybe I'm not
Yeah,
that guru for him, but yeah.
Yeah, but so yeah, production adds to it. I hate to give like a price out because
Sure.
I don't want to like overblow myself, like blow you know what I'm saying,
Right.
but I also don't want to undercut myself. It's a tough thing because it just depends.
How do you pay taxes on music?
So it's just income tax. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah. So like I don't have to pay like I guess it's a service, so I don't have to pay like goods taxes, I guess, or
Right.
whatever. Like I don't add tax whenever you pay me
Right.
per se. I'm just paying income tax at the end of the year, so it's pretty straightforward.
Nice. Let's see. Yeah, where do you see yourself at with your skill for engineering for rock bands and live instruments just in general? And this point in your career, because you said at one point you were kind of struggling with rock bands. Where do you see yourself now with it?
I mean, I can confidently make like your rock song sound great.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what made that difference? What impacted you to be able to do that?
Well, to be honest, like during COVID, I did a couple things. I built my studio that's in my house.
Right.
So like it was an empty garage that was like open, had no door or anything. And then me and this super awesome guy named Ricky, he and I closed in.
It's always
that
a Ricky.
garage. Yeah. And we closed in that garage and turned it into my recording studio. And then I kind of decided, since I spent all that time and effort on that, I looked up because I was like, I do all this stuff, but I just feel like I don't know what I'm doing, basically. And so I think I just Googled like what textbooks do they have for mixing in colleges, and I looked them up, and then I kind of then I found one that looked interesting, and I looked it up. I was like, is this reputable? Like, is it
Right.
legit? And I bought one.
Right.
And it's just called mixing, or mixing audio, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think that from what I found, I don't know if they still have it there or even if what I found was necessarily legit, but like from what I found, they had this at Berkeley at some point or whatever for mixing. So I was like, all right, I'm buying it, and I read that thing from beginning to end, and like did all of
That's
the work in it, like
really respectable.
treated it like it was a class and did it, and it took me like a few months at least, you know.
That's really respectable, man. We got a studio on campus this year. It was unprecedented at Spring Hill, and
Yeah,
I did not do that. I thought I was just some experienced Pro Tools user, and ended up wasting 2 months.
Yeah,
You know, just
yeah.
like focusing on like volume automation, making it like zero point 0.1 decibels higher.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like literally draining myself every night. I mean, till like 2 a.m. And I should have just, done my research and stuff, and
Right.
big regret. But yeah, it's people underestimate the science behind
Yeah.
mixing.
Yeah. I mean, definitely reading that book, like for sure, billion% opened my eyes. And then that led to me, like when I got on a Dolphin Street Sound, like I was, when I started, it was an internship, started out as, and it still kind of is. But I also do sessions. It's kind of complicated thing, but like, I wasn't lost when I went in there. I went in that big pro recording studio, and I was not like, what am I doing? It was like I got it,
Yeah.
And then I still learn, and I was definitely learning at the beginning. I'm still learning now, but I didn't feel like I was like a fish out of water or anything like that.
Yeah, that's interesting to go into Dolphin Street Sound. Was that kind of a like a on a pedestal of an institution that you were like, man, like, because I don't know many studios in Mobile, but Dolphin Street, like everybody knows Dolphin Street.
Right. Yeah, like so at the time, so to be honest, I think I called them, I think like 5 years ago.
Right.
I called them, and like, or maybe it was longer than that. But anyway, like I called them, and they were I think it was being run by different people maybe at that time. But I called them, and I was like, hey man, look, I will just come in there and answer phones, please. Like somebody, can I do anything there? And they were just like, nah, dude, like straight up. I don't even like. There's like, no, just no. I don't know who it was on the phone.
It was the person that answers phones currently.
No, well, it wasn't that person. It wasn't for sure because they would have remembered. But no, so but they were just like, nah. And so it's going back to, you said something about like getting to a point where you don't know if this is your career or not. So actually, what happened was I guess it was a little more than a year ago now. I was about to go up to Atlanta to work with my uncle in his flag factory warehouse. Okay?
Yeah.
I know that sounds crazy, but he's got a really nice flag business. He sells flags. I was going to go up there to live with him and to work there. And my girlfriend was like, please don't. I was like, well, it's like an opportunity. It's a big career opportunity. If I worked for his company, I'd be making a decent amount of money, I assume. And she's like, she didn't want me to go. And I was like, and then somehow that conversation turned into like, because I would still continue my music career if I went there. I wouldn't quit, But somehow that conversation turned into like, have you thought about like doing anything else around here besides doing anything?
About an actual job.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's a crazy question, man.
Yeah, and and she was like, well, what about like internships at like studios? I was like, I don't know.
Right.
Like, I never even thought about it.
Right.
And she was like, why don't you just hit up Dolphin Street Sound? She's just like, just do it. I was like, whatever, man. And I emailed them, and they like interviewed me like, I don't know, a few days later, I guess. And then they were like, went in for the internship, and now I like kind of work there. So it's crazy.
Terrific. How much time each week do you spend at Dolphin?
So it's been a lot less recently. So like the internship, like when it started out, I mean, I was like gung ho. I was like there many days a week for hours a day,
Yeah.
Doing intern type stuff. And then it's kind of, it's changed. The dynamics changed a lot because like I've started taking sessions along with the other two interns that were there whenever I started working there, or started interning there. We all take sessions now. And, basically since I like, I'm relatively comfortable there. And so I've started to like focus on my own studio a lot more because I've learned so much there, and I'm using that knowledge to like really fortify my studio. So I haven't spent as much time there, but that might change in the near future because I'll have more free time once my studio is like really, rock solid. So
for sure, man. What's left in setting up your studio?
Nothing too crazy. I've got
I've seen you have new stuff come in daily. It seems.
yeah, I've been upgrading a lot of the hardware. You know, like I said, just from working in the big studio, seeing what they have, seeing how it makes everything easier. You know?
Yeah.
I've upgraded like microphones and compressors and all that, and I'm really just waiting on. Technically, I need to build some more sound treatment, like a couple bass traps or so, and then I'm waiting on like a fancy schmancy audio interface and some hearback units, little things to plug your headphones up to, so the artist can mix themselves.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it, and then I'm chilling at that point. I'm gonna start advertising it hard.
Oh yeah, man. Well, what are the plans for advertisement? Unless you don't have the liberty to say that yet.
Just really cracking down on social media, like because a lot of the stuff I do is just like being like, here's a mixing tip or like here's my opinion on something, but I might
Right.
go more for like, hey, like I can do something for you, you know what I mean? Like doing some more like advertisement style stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of like gravitating towards just standard content. So,
Absolutely. What's an ETA for the studio?
um, uh, man, well, so if that interface that I'm waiting on, which I'm still debating getting, is supposed to be here by the end of the month. So that would be when everything's like
Nice.
super solid.
Nice. You excited to hit the ground running?
Yeah, yeah, I am.
Awesome. Do you already have any artists lined up to record?
No, nothing right now. I'm working with one artist on like a Christian album, but she's somebody that I worked with many years ago that I just still work with. And
Nice.
so that's all I've got like really in the books right this second is her album, and then obviously just Dolphin Street Sound, anything that comes on the table there. So
For sure. I saw you've got some insight on Logic and Pro Tools,
yeah,
and those posts actually have gained a lot of traction on social media.
yeah.
Where do you stand on that, just to set the record straight?
I hate that. I hate that I like Pro Tools.
Wow.
I hate that I like Pro Tools because I always worked in Logic Pro forever and ever and ever. But Pro Tools does a lot of like it. Just the editing is super intuitive. It's super easy and quick once you get used to it.
Right. The commands.
Yeah, but Logic for me is better for production because of all the built-in instruments that it has.
Gotcha.
Like, it's all their like synthesizers and everything, and their fake drums and their whatever is in there. That is like just makes it so easy to like zip around in production, especially since I'm comfortable with it. I just know where all the instruments, or not
Right.
all of them, but where a lot of them are. I know how to find them.
Yeah.
It just makes production easier. So these days, like sometimes, or what I'm maybe kind of gravitating towards is like producing songs in Logic and then bouncing them out, mixing and editing in Pro Tools.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, that was a great answer. In the studio, be it with a new guest or a past guest that you're familiar with, is there a type of language that you prefer or that you've grown to prefer between you and the artist?
Like, what do you mean by that?
Like in conversation of like, because it's a business environment and you want to get things done, but it's also a casual environment that you want to have art form, and then it's also just like you are facing the computer and kind of understanding messages that you put into. Is there a certain vernacular that is like appropriate for the studio that you've like developed and kind of preferred that helps build chemistry, I guess? Yeah, it's a little complex.
Yeah.
you know.
It's a nuanced question. It's definitely interesting. Never really thought about it.
I don't know if I'm like asking you to recall like certain phrases that are helpful in the studio or just like common dialect that helps you work better, you know?
I don't know. I try to. I basically, depending on the artist, I try to like kind of meld to whatever they're comfortable with. You know.
Gotcha.
There are some technical terms like that. I mean, I honestly just kind of throw them around and don't always use them right when I talk. Like for a small example, this is not really significant, but like run it back can mean do it again,
Yeah.
or it can mean like go back and listen to it.
That's actually great that you mentioned that because, like, I've actually had that happen
Yeah,
many
yeah.
times that I just forget to. But yeah, that's
Yeah, and and a lot of like another thing is like I guess this is kind of maybe more answering your question. Like I'll say so punch in is a thing.
right.
I say plug in. I say plug in.
Oh, really?
I just do, and most of the time people get it. You know what I mean? But yeah, like there's some stuff like that that's like interchangeable. It's probably not correct. That
Right.
I'll just throw out there, but usually people get what I'm saying. So
You could start like a like skits on Instagram for like funny moments, you know,
yeah, yeah.
funny
For
moments
sure.
in the studio, and kind of build a comedy page for producers.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
People, producers only get it, you know,
Right.
laughing in the eighth note.
Right. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I guess my last question is, compared to when you started engineering or producing, what has changed in your personal music experience and with the entire music game that's been notable?
So I guess with my personal thing, the thing that's changed the most is is I do less, like when it comes to like mixing and mastering and all of this stuff. I just do less. So I would like at the beginning, like I would like really like overthink and overprocess and overmix and over whatever. And these days I just don't, I don't know. I guess it's from practice, but I just don't think about it as much, and I just don't. If something if something doesn't need something, I just don't do it. You know.
Yeah, that's fantastic. If it already sounds good, it sounds
Yeah,
good.
right. Like I used to think that everything needed something, where that's actually it's very much the opposite. Most things don't need something, and then you got to find like what really could
Yeah, man.
touch up. You know.
That's a great answer because less is really more. And I think if you ask like chefs or athletes, it just how they progress, you know, removing the wasted movement is just allows you to experiment with other concepts. But yeah,
For sure.
also with kind of the music industry, be it in Mobile or just in the world, like anything noticeable that you've changed or that you've noticed.
I guess like one thing is that like I mean I don't know. I mean that might be like a this is not really like a deep answer on this, but like you know when I was younger, like rap music was kind of like pop music. Like it was like the biggest music, you know. And I think these days it's like it's weird. Like anything could be the really big music. It feels like
Fantastic answer.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
there's no like this is pop. You
Yeah.
know, there's like it's like you don't know what's gonna blow up
Right.
tomorrow. It could be the weirdest sounding crap you've ever heard in your life, and it could just be the biggest hit. You know, and I just think that's really
That's kind of what the
crazy.
world's gravitating towards.
Yeah, and it makes it easier to break in if you really think about it. So
Wow. That's awesome. You've got some Mr. Beast to you, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
word.
But anyway, where can people find you?
I mean, I'm Flewit, Flewit. I think you can just Google it, and I just come up.
That's
which
awesome.
is cool that I changed my name to that. So
Yeah.
but yeah, Flewit on TikTok, Instagram. Technically, I'm on Facebook,
Right.
YouTube. YouTube, I'm Flewit Music, and then FlewitMusic.com. That's my website. So
Nice.
it's all there, everywhere.
Were you happy when the domain was available?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Flewit.com. Recently, I looked at it. It's like $7,000 somebody wants for it or something like that. But FlewitMusic.com is just.
How do you find
great.
out how much people want for a domain?
If it's not being used? A lot of the times, like you can, if you go to the website, it'll just
like a
have
marketplace?
link. Yeah, it'll have a link. But like sometimes it depends. Or if you go to GoDaddy.com,
Right.
or whatever, you can look up the domain. But yeah, anyway.
No, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. And then what are your future plans besides getting the studio in place? Is there anything 5 years, 10 years down the line?
I mean, you know, like I know I'm an engineer and everything, but I mean, in reality, I mean, I want to be a rock star. I know that sounds silly, but you know, I want
It's not
to,
silly.
I want to make music. I mean, that's what I've always wanted. You know, engineering is awesome, and I love it, and I learned so much from it. But I mean, I've only done a couple of live shows,
Right.
But man, that is one of my favorite feelings ever, behind maybe snowboarding or something like that.
Fire, man.
Yeah,
Fire. Well, I can't wait to see what the future has for you. And
thanks, man.
just like snowboarding, you're gonna fly fluid somehow. Somehow it made sense in my head. So
Word.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. Flewit just killed it. You can find him on all platforms, and go check him out at Dolphin Street until he has his own studio pretty soon.
Word.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the Gulf Coast. Welcome to the Gulf Coast. Welcome to the Gulf Coast.